Okay, everyone, welcome to the first semi-final. Craig Lakin, Greg Batten. Both of these guys have played really well, especially today. I've seen a few of Greg's, I've certainly seen a few of the frames of his matches, and he's played really well. And Lakin, to me, always looks good, and I think he's really improved consistently. Lakin, he was behind in the last match he played. I'm not sure exactly what the score was, and he was obviously way ahead against Robbo in the match before, which isn't always easy to win from when you've been so far ahead and the guy comes back at you. I think he was 6-1 up and then went 9-8 down. But
Sorry.
The bookies had the bookies have Greg favourite for this match, slight, and I think it's probably not far off even money, to be honest. And I think that the other match they have Lawrenson favourite. And I suppose that just comes off the back of him beating Josh Kane, which is probably deserved. Joined in the commentary box by one of my best buddies, James Croxton. Jamesy?
How are you, mate? All right? Good to be here. Hopefully see a good standard match. Two top amateur players. I wouldn't say amateur, but two top players, both playing obviously very well. Can't pick a winner. Who would you fancy, guys?
I think it's close. I would, if I was marking the matchup, I would mark it up at 5-6. You pick. Like I said, they do have Greg favourite. Greg's really impressed me. The first few events that we played here, he struggled a little bit. But certainly the last one, and certainly this one, he's impressed me. I think his standard's gone up. I know he's got a table at home and he sticks the work in. He does send me the odd message every now and then, asking sort of a bit of advice on different stuff. The last one, it was sort of the middle of the night in China, and he sent me a message, obviously not realising I was there, asking about the break and stuff. So, but I like the fact that he's trying to learn. He's a bit of a connoisseur, and he's trying to improve in every area to just nick that extra few percent here and there. And obviously, it's working. And also, on top of that, he is a fantastic lad. So I would like to see Greg do well, but to be honest, at the same time, I do really like Lakin. I think he's. I don't really know him certainly as well as I know Greg, but I do think he's a great character, and I think he is good for the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's quite an outspoken lad, and but he backs it up. He's a good player. Obviously, won this event last year. So to come here, under this much pressure, playing for this much money, and compete and win the event is a good achievement. It's a very good achievement. Greg, I've known Greg for years myself. I competed at snooker with him as a youngster. He was a good snooker player as well. He was one of the top junior players. I think you can see that in his technique as well. He's got a little bit of a sort of snooker technique about him.
I presume the red next to the yellow passes through the gap into this left corner by the way that he's played that shot. He would have liked to finish on it a little bit straighter so he could screw back and leave an angle on the one in the middle to stun down to take this red at the bottom last, just because the black only goes into the left middle. So he would like that to be his last ball. Well, I said I presume that ball goes, and it obviously did go, but it must have been slightly tight, because it definitely looked it from here.
but looks to be really, really quick, guys.
It is. Every match I've commentated on, I think I've done 4 or 5 now, and they've all been on this table. And the table is really quick. It's really responsive, and the cushions are even quicker.
It certainly easily catch you out on your positional play. You've got to be straight at it. Here we go.
It's a good shot.
It's a great shot.
But obviously Greg's just come straight off this table. Lakin's already played 2 or 3 matches already on this table, so they're both familiar with it. Having said that, it does still catch you out because it is that quick, especially with the light balls, or especially with the light cue ball that's even lighter than the object balls. You're scared to hit the ball because you're scared of overrunning it, so then what you tend to do is decelerate. Not left the best of angles there, so he's going to have to just play in the gap. Just a little stun shot to play in the gap. He's not on it. Well, he walked on the table and shook his head, but from that camera angle he looks like he's easily on it. From my seat he looks like he's on it.
He's jacking up.
But he's not, because he's jacking up.
And I think that supports exactly what you just said there, guys. The table can catch you out. He's not hit it as nice as he'd like to. Worried about where obviously the white's going to bounce to, and he's under it the ball and overscrewed the ball a little bit, but not hit it hard enough and landed where he has. Unforced error, really. Both players relieved to get a second chance there.
Well, Lakin got a first chance and Greg got a second, so you won't believe he's come back to the table where those yellows were. And even though it's raised to 11, it is important to settle. As you can see there, Greg's road to the semi-final. He won his first 3 matches in the winner's side, and then obviously went over to the loser's side, and obviously that's a long way back there, so that's nicely tuned up with those 7 or 8 matches. I think Lakin hit that break a little bit harder, a little bit of frustration. And see, he sort of broke the front ball unintentionally. He's potted a ball, but not sure what starter he's got.
He's certainly got a plant on the yellows, but I don't think he wants to go yellows. Reds are certainly the...
Is this quite tight, Jim?
It looks tight from the camera angle, but yeah, I think Shotty's played it well.
Still got to be careful though, isn't he? Yeah.
I think the shot might be to play this bottom red here now, because I think it's the most awkward one to land on from anywhere else bar where he is. You could play it now. Maybe a little trace to the left-hand side. Now they just snick the black, or just run past the black.
I think if you're going to play it, I don't think you want to play it on any side, do you? I think he's got 5 balls to land on, and he's playing your shot. I think you just play it plain ball and guarantee getting the pot. He has played it plain ball, and he has potted it. And like you say, having taken that one away, it now makes the finish so much easier. And sometimes I think what's just to learn from that is sometimes you have to weigh up, am I ever going to land in a better position than I'm already in on my bad ball? And I think that's what you were saying. He was never going to be in a better position on that bad one than he was in. Not played the best of shots there, although he has got away with it because this does pass into the right corner. Strikes the ball quite nice, doesn't he, Lakin?
Does, yeah. Does. Very fluent player.
But yeah, I think that's what you were saying. You know, he quickly worked out there that the cue ball was in the window, and was he ever going to get back there, and could he have got any better? And So just slightly under it and over it a few shots. So he'll be glad to get his frame on the board. If anyone does have any questions for James or myself, then ask away on the live chat. The other semi-final is a bit of a strange one, certainly for me. Don't really know the Lawrenson guy, and obviously I know of Seb Webb, but I've never really watched him and don't really know his level, but I do think it's a massive shock that both of them are in the semi-final, but they've both beat a lot of very good players, so they deserve to be there.
Yeah, I think looking at the field and looking at the names in the field, you know, I don't think many people would have said, oh, this Seb or is it Matthew Lawrenson would have been there. I think they'd both be happy to be there, but like I say, you know, to get to the semi-finals of an event like this with this much class, you know, you've certainly got the capabilities of winning the events. You've obviously done very well.
Especially for the guys that have come through the loser side the long way around, playing the smaller races.
I've watched Seb in his last couple of money games, you know, he's sort of been up against it. Certainly against Gavin Robinson, he was behind, and some of the most attacking, but most cynical pool I've ever watched. I think, you know, the finishes he was taking out just, you know, weren't really there, and you know, all credit to him, he played really well. And I think he's won a couple of quite, you know, big money games recently, so he obviously fancies his chances.
Stuart Piper's come on and said this table's breaking much better than the last table Greg played on. Well, Greg played on this table his last match. He hasn't changed tables, it's exactly the same table. I think more to the fact is he's probably hitting the break much better. Everybody keeps cup breaking all over the place. Lawrenson's doing it on the other table and it's making my eyes bleed.
Not a fan of the cup break, Gareth?
No, never have and never will.
Well, I was saying earlier on, I commented on the game earlier on with Orphan and Greg, and I was saying that Greg used to break and hit the front ball, and now he sort of cuts slightly, and if it works for you, it works for you. I'm not a fan myself, but it's such a big part of the game, Gaz, the break. And you know, if you're hitting the front ball and not potting one, and something starts to work for you, you can't blame players for doing it.
Well, listen, if it states in the rules you can cup break, then I'm not blaming the players for cup breaking. I'm not saying they're wrong, it's not illegal. I'm just saying that I'm not a fan of it, and I do think it's a slight cop-out, and I do think there's a huge skill in hitting the front ball with a lot of power and keeping control of the cue ball. I think it's a big part of 8-ball, the break, using the cup break. Especially hitting it soft like these guys are doing. I know that Boyle hits it hard and there is more skill in keeping control of the cue ball, cup breaking hard, but I do think it takes a huge part of the skill out of it.
It's over on that.
Yuck. Just okay.
Yeah, I think he's just fine. The example there where the table can catch you out. You know, if he'd have landed above that yellow, he was in trouble.
Yeah, another half an inch to the left-hand side, and it's vile.
Perfect for you though, Gaz. You've always been the bridge king against me. It's been a long-standing joke between us, but every time you've landed above a ball awkward, you've potted it and cleared up. It's
yeah, and it's not something that I've ever really sort of overly practiced. Maybe that's just down to me not being able to keep hold of the cue ball, and I leave myself bridging all the time.
I like to think you just save your best pool for me, but that's my story. I'm sticking to that. That's okay with you.
Paul Marshall said, what break do you use at the Chinese 8-ball, Gareth? It's a bit different at that because we use the magic rack, so there is a break that if you hit the cue ball at the correct pace with a certain trajectory and a certain strike on the cue ball, that you do get 2 balls tracking to the middle. There's a good camera angle there we brought to you to see. And so I hit obviously the front ball and play like a little pop break to make the 2 wing balls into the middle.
It's similar at 9-ball, guys. It's the same, isn't it? It's a certain pace, and you get the balls tracking to the middle pocket.
Yeah, I think it depends at the 9-ball because they play different tournaments where they have the 9-ball racked up in different places, or the 1-ball racked up in different places. Sometimes they have the 1 on the spot, sometimes they have the 9 on the spot.
It's a good finish from Greg. 2-1. Certainly a horrible drive back for Greg if he goes on to win the event.
Well, it's an even worse drive home if he doesn't go on to win the event.
Yeah, I know what.
I think he'd rather be driving home having won.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, certainly. A few more quid in his back pocket certainly takes the pain away from the drive.
Lakin's break revving up. He actually took a bit off that. I don't know if it was intentionally or unintentionally. Where's this red going? No, he can still pot the yellow. Has to go yellows and wants to go yellows anyway. Definitely took some off that. Didn't rev up and give himself friction burns like he normally does on that break, and he definitely did take a little bit off. The table plays so slick like this, you can take a little bit off. I thought he'd missed that. And he thought
he missed that as well, yeah. He was up off his shot straight away.
And if anything, he wanted to hit it quite thick, didn't he, into the other knuckle to avoid cannoning the yellow to land on the yellow in the left corner. His hand's a long way from the cue ball here. Didn't like that. His hand was miles away from the cue ball.
It makes it so much harder.
Because there's more cue hanging over, so when you deliver the cue, there's more room for error as you push the cue through. I don't know why I spotted that straight away. I literally just looked up at the camera and his hand just seemed sort of, well, like, for me, on that sort of shot, he should have been like twice the distance closer.
Tight in, yeah, a little bit more compact. You see this again, look, he's so far away. You see as you're queuing up, obviously the cue's dipping, and obviously as the cue dips, you're going to catch maybe a little bit of unwanted side on the cue ball. It's he made life difficult for himself there. He's not really left Greg a lot of choice. Where do you go, guys? I mean, you could clip off the red and bring the white over behind these reds here on the left hand side if you can find that path, or do you take the pot on? Do you have much of a choice?
Well, the way he's
looking at
the way he's eyeing it up.
It's one of them. I think he pots it, he wins.
He's decided it's all out attack.
He's potted it. That's a great shot.
Like this for a shot.
Oh. He's wiped its feet.
Oh, he couldn't have hit it any better, could he? And I don't know if the very last roll it's slightly turned away, to be completely honest. Obviously we tried to get the table in as good as possible, and they were all done brand new on Thursday, levelled up, and I checked this match table myself on Friday and the other one, and it was pretty spot on. They do obviously bed in, they do move slightly. The table's obviously quite heavy.
Of course, and you've got the finger marks and
yeah,
everything
but
else.
I do think that did just sort of track away the last couple of inches. When it left the middle pocket, as it passed the middle pockets, I think it was in.
Yeah.
So I do think.
So maybe a little bit more pace. It could have.
Wow, it's one of them where when you're playing a ball up the rail, though, you don't really want to hit it any harder than that.
No.
So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. I think it did slightly turn. Daniel Troop said, Gareth, what would you say is the best rules to play in the modern day rules black ball world? Without a shadow of a doubt, it's black ball, and the reason for black ball is just because they're so much easier on the eye to watch. They're so much more attacking. You rarely get those 40-minute frames. Lakin's a bit all over the place here, actually. But, yeah, so the answer to that would be certainly black ball. And for taking the game forward, you've got to go down. So he left himself here. Oh, that's not the red in.
Well, he didn't leave himself at all nice there. He played a terrible shot to leave himself where he did.
He spotted a clever little shot, though. He played it bad, but I think the bad shot was the shot before to get the cue ball.
The shot that he's played was a good shot, but he's so much further from the object ball than he needed to be.
He spotted a clever little shot to play the ball and off the ball, and he hadn't forgot about where the other ball was going. He planned on playing the skill shot with that, like he got. So I do think he spotted a clever little one there. He just played a really bad shot the one before, and yeah, he missed the ball, but it was tough for the white right in the jaws of the pocket from there. Yeah, and the tables are recovered for every event. Gumble wow, so that's the question, and yeah, before every event they always recovered the day before.
Just about perfect there, just on off the rail and back through the gap.
Greg sort of gives every single shot the exact same care and attention. No matter if it's that sort of shot or if it's this dead straight red into the middle, he's exactly the same. He goes through the same motions, and as someone like Lakin would be a bit more nonchalant when the balls are like this, and it's just preference, isn't it? So it's what feels right to you and what gets you in the zone. See, there he goes for exactly the same routine with the cue action. Walks into the shot exactly the same. Every single shot. See here, does the same amount of feathers every single time, look.
Yeah, quite robotic. Always been the same. Like you say, guys, it suits him. And
no, I think he's got a very good technique. He hits the ball well. He technically, he looks the part on the cue, doesn't he? Everything's in line, and Lakin's route to the semi-final is a lot easier with half the amount of matches, as you can see there.
But the standard is again, tremendous.
Well, if you look at 3 out of the 5 of those matches have gone to within 2 frames.
Yep, you've got John Rowe, who's an ex-pro. I mean, they all play.
Well,
what you'd say is a pro level.
What we need to do is stop talking about amateurs and professionals, because it's just stupid.
It is.
So none of these are amateurs. They're all, well, certainly these 2 players on this table.
No.
Greg is a professional on the IPA.
Yep.
And Craig Lakin is obviously more than
Plays at that
capable
level.
of being of a professional standard on any tour with any player. So we won't talk about who's.
Well, I know that Darren McVicker is
Amateur,
he's had
professional.
maximums at snooker. You know, he's a
Yeah.
very good player, very talented. You know, it's that's why I think is it's what makes the game interesting. I think certainly with the black ball rules, it makes it so much harder to dominate because of the rules and the standard is so good right down the rankings now.
Yeah, well,
know,
you say that,
rankings.
but if you look at the latter end of the main black ball tournaments, it is almost the similar players. Mark Boyle, Mark Farnsworth are always there and thereabouts at the tours. Between them, they've dominated. So I get that the rules are more open and more attacking, and they do favour the player that sort of allows you to go sort of winging a little bit more, but
We've tried to develop that.
he's tried to develop it, and so just to clear up on quickly on that point of the amateur and professional, and I'm not going to keep going over it. So a guy has asked, why can Greg play in this event then if he's amateur? So it is a real grey area, and that's why the series next year there's going to be no grey area, because it's open to everybody the way it should be. When you start playing pool, you strive to be the best you can be, whether that be number one in the world or world champion or whatever it is. Then why should there be the biggest series that there's ever going to be, and you get punished for once you achieve those goals and being good? It just doesn't make any sense. So it needs to be open to everybody. And then the thing with this tournament, it is a real grey area. The decisions are made obviously by Lee Kendall and Lee Grout, and they base it on, it's called an amateur event, but obviously the standard of these players is far from an amateur event. But the problem that you've got is, if you restrict Greg Batten, then you have to restrict all of the players that play on the EPA tour. So for example, Josh Kane, Gav Lomax, all of those top players who are obviously of a professional standard are classed as amateurs on the EPA tour. So obviously that makes absolutely no sense either. And at the minute, to me, the whole of the English 8-ball pool world makes absolutely no sense. So the events next year sort of stop all this. I get why people are saying, well, why is Greg playing? Because he's actually a professional. So basically what they've decided is that Greg's standard is of a very similar standard to the other players, the other top players on the EPA tour that have been allowed to enter. That is always open for debate, isn't it? Because you know, what happens if Tom Cousins comes and says I want to play? What happens if Mick Hill comes and says I want to play? What happens if Phil Harrison says I want to play?
Of course, yeah. And the classed as
he's
amateur
classed
players,
as an
isn't it?
amateur, so that's why the pool at the minute is just an absolute joke, isn't it? It's a load of rubbish. Let's be honest. You know, let's call it the way it is. It is, because how can Phil Harrison be classed as an amateur pool player? Well, he's not. So the series next year will be open to everybody, and hopefully it's a big success, and all of the best, that allows all of the best players in the world to all play together in one tournament again for one prestigious title. So there you go, Chris, and the other guys that have just asked about that. I hope that's explained it all to you as best as I can. Without swearing. Look, he's watching from Tokyo again. Yeah, I remember this guy from last time, actually. He was on the live chat watching from Tokyo. And you got nothing else better to do, pal, in Tokyo? Surely there's some big party or something there. Must be like a pool party or something.
Is it Lucky 9381?
Yeah.
Reveal yourself, Lucky.
There must be.
Who are you?
Surely got to be some.
Who are you?
Make wicked pool party or something you should be at instead of being up. I mean, what time are we there now? So what, we're 6-7 hours ahead over there? But no, fair play, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Paul and Lee Shepherd have asked there. We'll be lucky enough to see you in it. Yeah, I'm gonna play. The rules of the series is that you have to play 3 out of the 4 events to qualify for the grand final, which the grand final's the big one that everyone wants to be in, of 40,000 to the winner. So the first 3 events will be 5,000 to the winner, the 4th event will be 10,000 to the winner, and the 5th event will be 40,000. You have to play 3 out of the 4 events to be eligible for the grand final, and you have to have that rule in place, or else you're just going to have a load of people trying to enter.
That's a great shot from Craig. He's been a little bit unfortunate there. I think he wasn't really sure where he was going with the white ball.
Greg James.
Oh, sorry, Greg. But can he chop that back into the pocket? It's tough from here.
So yeah, just quickly going back onto that. So you have to have that rule in place because you could have people then just turning up for the last event, the big money event, where there has to be a lot of that money is funded by the people that have supported the other 4 events. So you have to have that rule in place. So yeah, the objective for me, China permitting, is that I'll try and play 3 out of the 4 events. Then obviously try and make the last event.
Right on cue there, just asking if Farnsworth will get a tour in his pool. We were there a few weeks ago, Gaz, watching a money match, and it was a nice place. Just not enough tables.
His club's absolutely lovely. They've done a fantastic job. What about this for a shot?
Great shot.
What about that for a shot?
Fabulous shot.
You don't think you're going to see many better shots in this match than that? Check this out. That is touching the red, and it's dead straight. What about that for cueing? Look. Brilliant.
Perfect.
Yeah, Farnsworth's club's brilliant. Really liked it, really impressed. And they've got a slightly different setup there in the sense of it's geared more around, they're having a lot of functions, bands, parties, that sort of stuff. Yes, I understand there's a lot of they've got, I think it's 10 pool tables. They are going to run some tournaments. I don't know if he's interested in running events, of the sort of nature of the big events, of sort of 2, 3, 4, 500 pound demands. I know he has a lot of, like I say, weekends, bands and stuff on up there, and it is a really nice club. They spent a hell of a lot of money on it, and I can tell you that it is doing really well.
I think they have the Northeast pool tour there at the moment.
The Northeast tour there, yeah, and they've got like the dartboards, and it is a really good setup for those who not familiar with that. It is a new place, and it is called the Sky Lounge in Sunderland, in Washington. They have a Facebook page. Check it out. There's all pictures on there. And at the weekend, I've never seen a club like it in my life. It just becomes alive we were there, Jim, for the money match, and it just become alive like a bar-stroke nightclub. There was probably on the one they had like an act on, and there was like 200 or 300 people in there, and it was literally just like a nightclub.
It was, yeah. It was a great place to go, sort of socialise, and there was a party on the next day, wasn't there? It was a 50th birthday party. Was it the following day?
Check out this for a finish. Sorry to interrupt you there, but all sorts is going on here with Greg. I hope we can... I'm sure Greg will be wanting a little clip it back of this finish if he pots this and then knocks the black in, because he's already played 2 balls in off balls. One was a full-length double, rail first. He had to get this so thick to make it look.
Yeah.
The one before was he played a ball and off a ball into the corner, and then he potted the long one bridging. You watch, after all this now, he's going to miss this ball.
Oh, commentator's curse. Yeah, it's perfect.
Oh, what a finish this is.
Superb.
What a finish. That's going to hurt, and that's going to do his confidence a world of good. That's the best finish that there's been all weekend, and you ain't going to see one better than that, trust me. Daniel Thomas, any chance you getting him money game, Gaz, and not just bothered? Yeah, I did put a challenge out about 6 months ago at the Chinese 8-ball. So yes, I'm gonna enter the series next year.
He's really winding up for this one.
He's made a ball, but they're okay, aren't they? Or not? No.
No, they're tough. Sort of gets down sometimes, Craig, thinking it sort of looks like if the finish is really easy. You know, it's
I think he's had a result here. And the reason why I think he's had a result is because...
he can play the same shot again.
To
check into
I'm not sure he can get that, can he? Daniel Thomas, I thought Mikhail would have fancied a game on a Chinese 8-ball table. Give him a bow, pal. The offer's still there.
This will be impressive.
What about this for back-to-back finishes if he gets this?
He's got down to these like they were just all hanging over the pockets.
Is he a bit too low on this double? I thought he was too low. Like you say, he got down to that and just nonchalantly walked around as though all those were over the pocket. And Jesus Christ, what back-to-back finishes that would have been. Barring a fluke or a kick, this is going to be 5-1.
I don't think he can get around the angles.
No, he
the
can't.
reds are in the way.
He's blocked it with a red.
And if he comes across and chops it back to the middle, he's nowhere on the black. You see a lot of players, you know, these sort of shots, guys, because you can get away with, you know, what you call the skill shot and whatever. They just have a go and rely on more luck than judgment, and sometimes it pays off.
Like Craig got down to that double, and as he was sort of revving up to it, I was thinking, is the cue ball too low? And when it's too low, what you have to do is that shot that you played there, you have to load it up with the left-hand side.
Of course.
That allows it to straighten up. So you load it with the left-hand side that allows it to straighten up. People think that you would play that with the opposite side of right-hand side, but to the doubles to straighten it up, you'd play that shot with left. And I think he just got down really quickly and thought it was dead straight, and
Yeah.
I think he did have to play it with left. Matt Smith asked, what about Shane Van Bonen? I presume that's what you mean. Is he any good at Chinese 8-ball? He's not great, to be honest. Obviously, he's a fantastic 9-ball player and 10-ball player on the American tables, but he's played in the Joy event a few times. He's actually signed now with Joy, but he's okay. But out of all the 9-ball players, and obviously, I don't class Chris or Daz as 9-ball players in the sense of, you know, and this, I don't class them in what I'm about to say. I class them as more of, you know, English 8-ball. That's where they come from. And the best player that I played, it was in the Masters this year, was Albin Aushin, who's the world 9-ball champion. He was really good at it. I was really impressed with him. His temperament was... He was just a really classy guy, to be honest. I was really, really impressed with him. He played brilliant against me. We had a really good match. I think I won 13-11, but the standard was really, really high, and I was really, really shocked and impressed of how well he played. but he has got quite a good technique. He is a little bit different than the other 9-ball players in the sense of he's not too loopy and not too wild on the backswing. And Ralph Souquet was also quite good at it.
Five one here, guys. Just trickle this in.
Yeah, and he's left himself like a freebie at it. It's a free shot. It's a good job.
It's a good job, yeah. He's played that so poorly. Jumped straight up off the shot.
Yeah, someone's come and said, yeah, Jason, yeah, but again, Jason Shaw now plays that, but, he comes from English 8-ball as well. And, but he did seem good. I saw some of his matches in the Star World Championships, and he did seem good. And, yeah, John come on and said his sister is fit, and, yeah, she is actually. Ooh. Might see a concession here. There you go. Yeah, Zach Shepherd was obviously there playing in the Masters this year, and to be fair, he was there supporting me. To be fair, he watched a lot of my matches, and he just said there that he watched the match with Albin Ocean, and he did play brilliant.
There are the events for next year. Superb series of events to come.
So that's the series, as you can see there, and then the grand final is obviously the last one, and that'll be the one that's going to be 40,000 English to the winner. Daniel is on about Albin Ocean's sister. Her name's Yasmin. No, I didn't see Ronnie's tweet about that, but Daniel's saying Ronnie's tweeted about Snooker Tour being 70% full of no-hopers. And Daniel Thomas is right in the sense of a lot of the snooker players that are on the main snooker tour, you are right, they would earn more money working full-time at Aldi. So straight away I've spotted the shot here. You put the red in the middle, you put the yellow in the middle past the red that's on the blue spot. You screw over to the left-hand side of the table, and then you plant the yellow up the rail. Do you, James, or do you just play it first shot?
You can play it first shot. I think the yellow that you're talking about playing the plant with, it goes in the top left-hand corner. So
it does, but it's a
little bit. You've got to get on it.
You've got to get on it, haven't you?
Whereas now you've got your chance to, you've got a big space to play into to play that plant.
And
providing you get the one of the the yellow out of the way, I think he's just getting physical. If you screw straight up in a straight line, you can play it. Second shot. Dead close to the rail, but he's okay.
Yeah, and he's straight away there. That's for any of the actual real amateurs out there. What he's tried to do is get on his bad ball straight away, which is what you do try and do when you're taking a finish out, and he missed that straight away. He started that out, and he's and to be honest, he looks like he obviously is struggling a little bit here, but I do think some of this is down to Greg's making him struggle a little bit, certainly by that one finish he got. When somebody takes something like that against you, it hurts, because Craig would have been sitting in his chair 3 or 4 times doing that finish thinking, I'm going to get back to the table here.
It's currently 5-3 to Seb. I think it's just about to go 5-4. Barring something drastic happening.
Is it 5-4 or 6-4? I think it might be about to go 6-4, is it?
I think Seb was 5-3 up, wasn't he? 6-3, maybe 6-4, yeah. 6-4. Off the yellow here, Gaz got a good angle to drop behind it and up into the same pocket.
Yeah.
Oh. It's okay. It would have been ideal if you could have stunned it a little bit more and come this side of the red so he could play it up the rail, but he's okay.
Yeah, just play it last now, can't he? The black goes into the right corner. So he can just leave the one on the rail till last if he wants, and if he gets dead straight on it, it's fine. He can then... Oh,
the black comes
well,
in.
I thought
it's tighter than you think. I think it does go, but I think
ducks,
it's awkward.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's awkward. If you're right behind it, I think you're okay. A little bit of angle, it makes it a lot harder.
Either way, I think he has to play it last, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, to be honest, he's missed a bit of a trick there. He should have played it harder and bumped the yellow out of the way so the black does go clean. He bumped into it, but should have knocked it to the top cushion.
Yeah. Has it knocked it dead in front of it now, or has it actually opened the pocket up a little bit?
Oh no, it does go actually.
It's battery better than it was.
That's a good shot then. That's a good shot.
What do we know?
It's amazing because it looked like it flew in before and now it looks like it's tight. But he just needs to make sure he's got that sort of angle, as you can see there on the one in the middle. Anything straightish is fine. And that's not fine.
That's forgivable. That you need to come a little, even if you come a little bit further.
You see, and what I do in situations like that is I aim for something. I aim for even a little mark on the table, a finger mark, one of the spots. So there, I would have been saying to myself, be at least on the black spot.
Yeah.
And then you guaranteed your shot at the rail.
Of course.
And that's something that I've always done. Now, like I say, sometimes if I'm playing a shot to the cushion, I'll look for a little chalk mark, a finger mark, just something as a guide. I mean, just the same as what golfers do.
Of course.
Golfers are playing a tee shot or a shot into the green, and they pick a point, whether it be the TV tower or a tree. And
yeah, even if he comes too far there, guys, he can cut it back to the middle, and he's got, if he comes anywhere near the back rail, he's got a sort of, even towards near the middle of the table, he still leaves himself half a shot up the rail. He's got to. I don't know what he's going to do here. Is he going up for the double? Yeah, that's what he's played.
Does it double? I think he's playing the cut down the rail. I'm not sure.
Yeah, surely if you're going to play the double, you go higher and play it to the middle.
Of course. But he is playing the double. And it looks from that angle like it does. No. Oh, he's missed it inside. I didn't think he could miss it inside. So, lifeline, and this is a frame that, for me, Craig has to win. If he loses this frame, he loses the match for me. I think how solid Greg looks, and I just think he has to win this frame. 6-1 is tough against someone that's playing good, and for me, I wouldn't even go. Just drop onto that. There you can see the barrier of pool. The guy obviously is making all these events happen, him along with Lee Grout.
Are you getting a few questions asked? Yeah, guess.
Right, okay. So, Zach Shepherd first. Yes, we have discussed about making a hybrid set of rules like the Chinese or similar to the American BCA rules. But you've just got to be careful that people, doesn't put people off. I understand what Zach's saying, but I just think it's time for people to start worrying about upsetting the rules. Because let's be honest, if you get banned from the IPA or you get banned from the EPA, what are you going to miss? Let's be honest, not a great deal at the minute. So the answer to that is, I would personally choose to do a hybrid set of rules, and I think that makes it really unique. It makes it something. So you could do that, and the rules are very simple. It's not like it's complicated to learn, and they are the best set of rules that you can devise for 8-ball, in my opinion. Maybe that's something to look at for the future. Maybe for the second year, if it is a success, you can set up once you've got a series and a tour like that, then at the end of the day, you can do what the players want, and I think that's what Lee wants to do. He wants to do something for the players, and at the end of the day, it's about what the players want. And if everybody goes to Lee and says we'd rather play a hybrid set of rules, then he will 100% make it a hybrid set of rules. It's not like the old days of being dictated to. He wants it to do it for the players and give them something to play for. That's why I think the series is different, and that's why I hope everybody does support it. Yeah, well, of course you can just start making up. You can do what you can. This is just an independently run event. We're not signed or sanctioned by anybody. You can effectively do whatever you want. You can play whatever rules you want on whatever tables you want with whatever equipment you want. We're not affiliated or governed by anybody. So yeah, you can do what you want. Players is in Newcastle under Lyme, Adam, which is just outside Stoke-on-Trent. Who's in the comm box with me? It's James Croxton.
Awkward lie again there for Craig. He's just not getting much rub off his break.
Look at the state of the Reds. He just can't pot one.
I
think he must have
comfort, that one. Yeah, he was
sucked in there. It's Newcastle under Lyme, Adam, not Newcastle upon Tyne. So it is quite far from Glasgow.
Yeah, you wouldn't fancy walking it, Adam. Your feet might ache a tad.
James, you've got a question. You're feeling a bit left out there, weren't you?
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
Cole Befford says, why was Daft 1 not at the IPA?
I had sort of work commitments on the Friday. Cole, to answer your question earlier on, Kev did kindly offer to put my match back to the Saturday, but obviously getting down to London, in first thing in the morning on the Saturday on my own was a bit of a nightmare. So I made me apologies and let them know in advance that I wouldn't be playing.
Now, do you want to tell us the real reason why he wasn't at the tour?
But yeah, I've had other commitments.
First time I've ever heard you speechless. You normally don't shut up.
That's why John didn't know I was in the commentary box. I was quiet today. There's a couple of people asking there, Gaz, what's your icebreaker at snooker? Interested to...
What's that, sorry?
A couple of people have asked what your icebreakers at snooker. He's potted the yellow. He's come out the snooker and potted the yellow. That'll put a smile on Craig's face, no doubt, that one.
Hold on, we can see this again. We've got a replay.
Look at this. Not the red out the way as well.
Out the way, beautiful. That's lovely. Yeah, the 1-4 playing against somebody I've had as 1-4-4. On my own, I have had a 1-4-7. So that doesn't really count. I don't suppose. Picking him out for yourself, I'm not sure. James here, on the other hand, he has had a 1-4-7, and if he hadn't had it against me, I wouldn't believe him. But it was against me, to be fair.
I think there's a few breaks in that set, and you still beat me.
Yeah.
In that set, I used to have a few games. John, yeah, great result. I was actually at the match yesterday. Good 4-0 win. I was actually sat with all the Burton fans who were screaming and singing, and I wasn't flavour of the month, but I never have been, no matter where I've been in the world, so it's nothing new to me. But yeah, good result for the Wolves. Big Wolves fan, John Vaughan. Someone's got to be, I suppose. Anyone ever know of any of the top lads at snooker playing cash games? I think Selby's played a few money games, hasn't he? Yes.
Yeah, Salvy's played a few. Tom Ford's played loads. Mark Allen, I think he's played some. Stephen Lee. Big engine now he is, James. Stephen Lee, have you seen him
He's always
lately?
been a big lad, yeah. What's he doing? Is he playing? Is he over in China?
He's
doing
out in
pool or
China
something?
doing some stuff, and I saw a video of him the other day, and he's living well. Also had a break of 13, that's good, huh? That's unlucky.
I suppose with a lifetime ban from the snooker, guys, he's got to do something if he's out there out in China making money. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
The question was, have any of the snooker players played cash games at pool? Adam, so we were talking about pool games. Yes, Matthew Stevens as well. Yeah.
There's someone there who played Mark at snooker. Which one played Mark at snooker? No, it was
Yeah,
pool. It was pool. It was Buzzer. Buzzer played him, didn't he?
Ronan's played him.
Ronan's played him.
He's played quite a few.
He's got his head in his hands. He can't even look up at the table at the minute. He's a bit down in the dumps. It must be frustrating as well for him. I mean, a few things go against him, but he's made a few mistakes. And Greg, as you say, is so methodical. You know, he's the same every shot. He's not the quickest player in the world, and when you're just sat in your chair, it's such a horrible place to be.
There you go. Lakin, I don't know, I don't have any interest in watching him pot the last few balls. But to be fair, he's been frozen off the table here, Lakin. And I think the first frame sort of set the tone of the match for him. And when you're playing first to 11, you don't necessarily think the early frames or the first frame are important, but they are, because it can sort of set the tone of how you're feeling. Dry.
Oh.
No. Yes. No. No. Can he pot a red? Yeah. Clip the one into the middle. One just to the right of the spot and clip into the middle, and he's sort of got a big pocket. And he'd like to play it off the yellow as well. You can see there, that one goes, and he'd like to pot it off the yellow, which Not only frees the pocket, but would push the aloe down the side cushion. So Daniel Troop, yeah, I already spoke about this in Seb Webb's last game on here about saying about and he actually is on the stream, by the way. He's just the second stream table. If you'd rather watch that, that's a great shot from Greg, and he's hitting the ball sweet now. He doesn't look like missing. He's in the zone. I think this could be a trouncing. He just looks like he ain't gonna make a mistake to me. Yeah, Daniel's asking like about Seb being allowed to wear a baseball cap in an event where there's a dress code of trousers and shirt, and I completely agree with you, Daniel. I do think it looks ridiculous, and it is a tough one. If I was, well, I don't think he should be allowed to wear it, but some people say he looks better with it on. But it's working for him because he's just won another frame over there, and I don't know what the score is, but he's definitely winning.
He's going to play that original shot now, guys. Just soft stun this in, and then play the red off the yellow and just put it to the rail, just to take the pressure off the finish. I mean, the finish should be straightforward enough anyway, but anything you can do to sort of take the pressure off yourself.
Yeah, 7-5 to Seb, and he has just broken, potted the ball, and he is at the table. And then he has just missed his first shot, just as I said. That said, if he feels more comfortable wearing it, then people should let him. It's all about opinions. It's like all souls, everybody's got one. Don't know how it would quite work though if the dress code was waistcoat. As I said before, maybe make him wear a top hat if it's waistcoat. He has got his sponsor actually on his. It's not just a Nike baseball cap. It's got his sponsor's logo on his hat. So if you get it on a top hat, it can be seen from everywhere.
Looking steady here. Yes, Greg is looking very good on the cue.
It looks brilliant to me.
Faultless ball at the moment.
Okay, so no one wears it. No one moans at guys wearing extra small t-shirts and jeans. Oh, this is Yeah, Adam says he has my calendar. Yeah, but it's stuck together as well. Well, that makes all the difference if he's on the one to the left corner or not.
Zip it round, but is he going anywhere with it?
Well, yeah, if he can just flick it in dead weight, then he'll be on the other one. But with being so close to the red, I'm not sure we can get it to bite that quickly.
Craig's just seems to just be going through the motions at the moment. I think he's left Greg on this one in the gap. He's frustrated. He needs to rein it in and quick. More than capable of coming back against anyone.
And when you're playing well, the luck goes for you. And he's been lucky there because he can pot it into the top right corner. And I think he can top. I think the white hits the red first, then hits the other red. Well, at least he's got some sort of shot, Jim. It could have been worse.
Yeah, he could have landed nowhere there, and he's sort of giving himself a little chance. I think you're right though, guys. I think if he plays it into the top right hand corner, the sort of the white will go round the sort of arc of the reds, off one, off the other, and leave him okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Chelsea said Greg's so solid and he's got a great temperament, and he has. I think he's improving all the time, and as I was saying before, the thing I like a lot about him is he obviously wants to learn, he tries to learn. The story before about he messages me sometimes, and the last time it was like the middle of the night in China, jet lag, and he sent me a message like asking something about the break, and she didn't realise I was in China, but Yeah, he just wants to learn, and he's pool mad, he's keen, and he's great. And on top of that, he is a great lad, and I would I'd love to see him do well. So he's basically said to Lakin, off you go, and I like that shot. And that brings you on to talking about when you play. People say, oh, you just play the table. You don't play your opponent, you don't play the circumstances, you don't play the score. It's a load of rubbish. Of course you do. You play all of those. You play how you think your opponent's feeling. You play the circumstances in the match. You play everything, and he's worked out there that he thinks that Craig's sort of going to go lashing a little bit, and he's just walking. Obviously, he's left himself the skill shot here, and he's good shot. He's played it well, and I like the shot that Greg played. Though he just basically said, I don't fancy you to get these, and he's played a shot given the circumstances of how he feels, how he thinks Lakin feels, and the score in the match. And even though he has got them, he probably couldn't have done a great deal else. But he has basically just asked him the question, and you do have to do things like that in a match. Good shot.
Yeah, he's got that buffer, hasn't he, Gazzy? He can afford to do it at this stage of the match.
I think
it was the right shot.
Yeah, and I think, he made Craig pot a good first ball in the middle. If he misses that, he just asked the question of him, and to be fair, Craig answered it. Pots every time. Problem on the top rail. No starter on yellows.
Does the yellow go in the bottom left hand pocket here as we look?
I think you're happy to go reds.
Sure.
The one on the right there is, well, don't think it goes. Always unbelievably tight into the right middle. He's got no first shot anyway. So I think he's, I think he'll be happy to go reds. He's got the option of just potting the red across the top cushion and bumping the one up the rail and just getting it over the pocket or somewhere near the pocket over this left corner. Again, playing the circumstances, he's 7-3 down, he knows he's under pressure, he knows he's playing well, and really if Craig doesn't clear and he plays that shot, the next time he comes to the table he's going to clear, and I think he's going to play my shot. If he drops this up near the hole, which is the perfect ball then to screw into the yellow and the red together, I think if he plays that shot he leaves Craig in trouble. Oh, Daniel just said Clint just won the pro event. So he had a good weekend. He lost in the semi-finals of the tour to Ronan, and obviously now he's just gone on, and I know he was playing one of his good mates from Nottingham, Jason Rivington, who was also a really, really good lad.
Seemed to glue to the rail, that one. A little bit odd. I think it might have dropped it.
Yeah, I think he wanted to play. Should have played it into the cushion.
Yeah.
Because you wanted it sort of over the hole, but not too far over the hole, because that's the perfect ball to screw the red across the back cushion.
Of course.
He's playing the plant here.
What a shot that is.
And he's in the gap, you know.
Yeah, I think he can cut it to the
listen
middle.
at this, he's not only in the gap, he can pot it and drop off the top cushion, and can he knock his bad ball over the middle?
He might be able to, you know. I think he might be able to.
To be fair,
He's
he
tried
tried
to get it
knock
out.
it out of the wide. How unlucky is that? He can play this boy, you know.
He's got it.
He's got it.
Perfect.
This boy can play. He's unlucky. Does it plant?
I think the yellow goes past the
Let me
red.
see.
It's in the top left-hand
Oh, I'm
pocket.
behind the plant, and it's offset more than it looks on the camera, and it's tight.
Does the yellow go flush near to the rail?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
The one he's playing with left-hand side.
Oh, I think he should have played the one that went direct. Well, Lakin has like been close to getting two like filthy finishes really in this match. And you see, that's what I was saying by the shot that Greg played. Yeah, I know he played it badly and he should have covered the pocket. And had he ever covered the pocket, the first shot wouldn't have been there for Lakin. But he was just basically asking the question. This is perfect. Just to top into the yellow. Oh my god. Oh, he's concentrated so much on hitting the yellow, he's took his eye off the pot. That's criminal.
Craig was out the traps there. He was.
There's no need to play it that hard though, Jim,
No,
was there?
there wasn't.
Just bump the yellow away. Oh, that's a good shot.
Craig was so fast out of his chair there.
Yeah, it's like
That chance he's just had an invite to the 7:30 at Monmouth next Saturday, and he's the bookie's favourite at that pace.
or he just had an invite to Hugh Hefner's funeral. Can't imagine that's going to be too shabby.
No, well you've certainly been the worst wakes, haven't you?
Mm. But he did jump out of his chair quick, and that tells you that he's up for the fight now and he fancies it. And he didn't.
He didn't intend that. He's
But listen, this is game on now. Lakin looks up for it, and interesting to see if that mistake affects Greg. Has he made one?
no.
Made a cue ball. Oh, rock back.
It's out.
And what a difference that is, you know, like where the yellow's gone over the right corner, what a difference the cue ball sticking there. I mean, look at the state of the Reds. Greg was 7-2 up in a couple of matches ago against Stephen Petty, and that match went 7-all. He scraped over the line 8-7. As I said before, that when you make mistakes, and everybody makes mistakes, that when you do make one, you have to make sure that it only costs you that frame and it doesn't affect you for the next one or for the rest of the match, and that's really important that Greg doesn't do that here. I think he can go yellows here though, Jim, and just play the plant first shot.
Play the plant. Yeah.
And it's one of them again where, are you going to get any better on the plant? No.
Yeah, he drop the one in the middle now and then play the plant.
He's took another ball away, hasn't he? And the one he's just took away was sort of in a nice position, wasn't it? And
I think maybe if he drops this in there and leaves himself sort of where the yellow is, he can play the plant and bring the white back a little bit, trace the right hand side over to the right rail.
I think he needs to be further than where the yellow is, though, because the plant's a bit thinner. I think he needs to be in between the black and the red, like there.
Yeah, stop.
Oh, he didn't plan to leave himself sort of Chinese.
I just think if he gets the plant, he can leave himself dead. I think I'd have preferred to leave more of an angle on this and bring the white out back into the middle of the table.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, and he has left himself Chinese as well.
He's dead. No shot.
He's snookered.
Can he clip the yellow here?
No, I don't think he can. He can nip round it, obviously. He can turn it over with a bit of left-hand side, but...
Craig just asking me there if he's on it. I'm with you guys. I don't think I think he's got to just nip it round slightly.
He hasn't gone over short, has he?
He'd have been down by now if he hadn't. He's just nipping it around with a trace aside, but not as much as you'd think.
He is up. He is digging down. Oh. And
that surprises me. If Craig gets these,
they're not easy though.
they're not.
Especially at 7-4 down. He's after the one on the rail. He has knocked it to a point where the double's easier though. He has to stun down the left-hand side of the table now and take the two out of bulk. Has to play on those now. He's left the angle here. Is he topping into it? Hold on to your...
I think it's the double.
He's never played on the double in the corner, did he?
No, I think he's tried to play to the middle and
Oh, he's still playing it to the middle and where's the cue ball?
He's played that well. Played that well. This is tough though.
The context of the match, for me, this is sort of...
turning point.
Well, if he misses this, I think he'll probably lose the match. So this is a big shot, and I think he knows it. Good finish.
It is. Good finish.
Good finish. That keeps him in the match. And that's a big shot. I mean, obviously 8-4 is, with the way that Greg's playing, 8-4 is pretty much game over, I think. 7-5 and
certainly think Craig's feeling better than Greg at the moment.
Any amount of balls from Greg? Says, is it?
Just to clarify on the statistics there, my wingman here has been on the one that says balls potted from break. To be fair, that can be as open for interpretation. So he's basically been clicking the amount of balls potted from the break rather than basically just if they were dry or not. So he's got it down as 8-6. And considering this is a 13th frame, they've done well. But basically what that is obviously the actual amount of balls. But I can tell you that I think that is the first. If it's not the first, it's definitely only the second time that Greg's been dry.
Yeah, 2 from Greg now, 1 from Craig so far.
And it's game on. And it's game on because also Lakin looks. I can just tell by his body language that he's up for this now. He looks like he fancies it. Where I don't know at the start of the match, I know Greg played really good at the start, but he looked a little bit deflated.
Play the top red into the left corner now, guys. Does it not go past the yellow? Top right.
I think they both go. If it doesn't, he can play it and off it, but I think they do go. Although he looks straight. And it's tight there, as you can see. So he's going to have to play this with screw and reverse side, as you can see there. He's digging down with bottom right. He'd like to be on the one on the left-hand side of the table, on the side there where he is. He'd like to be on that one next. And he'd like to be on it. Well, basically, he'd like to be somewhere near the black. But it's not easy to get there. He'd like to have the cue ball on the blue spot.
Not even sure if he can cut this back to the middle, guys. I don't think he can.
No, he can't cut it back to the middle. He can drop it in, but is the cue ball hitting the knuckle?
I think it does. I think it actually hits the knuckle and does him a favour because it brings the white down towards the yellow here, sort of right of the black spot. In that sort of direction and leaves him an angle to get on his last ball. Oh, he's gone for the double. Oh. Well, it could be a lot worse. Big shot now.
Is it too thin to just drop it in off the top cushion and side cushion? Has he got to go into it?
I think he's got to go into it. I'm not sure if it goes to the top right hand pocket.
No, it doesn't go to the right, but what I mean is, can he drop it in and play on it into the left corner? It definitely doesn't go to the right.
No, I think he might be a bit too close. Playing with lots of side.
So he sort of double cued that. No good.
No. I just don't understand why. He's tried to land right on it, but I think if
No,
he
I
plays
d-
at a
I
little
don't
bit
think-
more pace, I think he leaves himself a
No, I don't
shot.
think he tried to land on it. I think he tried to play my shot, and I think he played it badly. I think he tried to come off the top cushion with run inside and land on the red to the left corner.
Left cover
Yeah.
behind them.
And, he just didn't. He just got into the cue ball too much or not enough side. I think that's what he's played. Because if he was going to go into it, he wouldn't go into it at that pace, would he?
You've got to hit it. Give it some. What does he do now?
Oh, he's dead, isn't he? Because he can't double it into the corner, can he?
Oh, well, there we go. We heard that.
And if you heard that, but Craig said, I'm going to say sorry in advance just in case I flick it because I'm just going to smack it. So hold on to your top hat, Seb. Oh. No.
Well,
I don't think he should be apologising because he's bought all of the yellows that were on the cushion out into the open.
well, you'd certainly put your mortgage on him getting these with 2 visits. Oh, where's it gone here? I won't be happy with that. Should be okay. I think the plant does go. He decides on the plant. He can maybe sort of soft screw this over. Bit of a loose shot from Greg though. Yeah, I think he's fine. Just stun this over now. Play the yellow into the left middle, the last yellow. Perfect.
Steve Dorr on the chat. Evening, Stephen.
Well, that's an unexpected miss.
And remember I said before about when Greg made that mistake. I spoke to him about it before when he lost his first match on this table, and he made a mistake and it let him affect it. It let the mistake affect the next frame, and that affected him for the whole match, because in all honesty he wasn't very good after he made that mistake. And as I said, when he made that mistake before, I hope that doesn't affect him.
Denmark, yes, it is black ball rules.
Good shot.
Nice shot.
Good shot. Did he check that a little bit to get that there? And if he checked it, would he played it plain? Well, he may have played it with a tracer right hand side just to straighten it up. It was a total, obviously, so he don't have to hit the rail. But look at that. Look. He's only left him the jaw. He's got him in trouble. He's blocked the up and down. Is there a case for Greg coming off the right side cushion, Jim, hitting the yellow half ball and sending the cue ball down the table?
If he can get there, I'm not so sure if he can.
Well, what's his other option? Other than rattling the cue ball in the jaws? If he can't see enough of the left side cushion, he's going to have to play the right.
Just try and glance it.
Yeah, there's more the yellow to hit than you think.
That's a good shot.
Oh,
Oh, he
potted
doesn't
it.
want to pot it, but
Well,
it's okay. It's okay. Bring it into the open now. Put the white
That's
safe.
fine, yeah. Do you just snick off the left edge of it, or do you have a go at the double? Or
I think if the white was a little bit more in the middle of the table, you've got a free shot at the double end. But there, you don't want to risk losing the white ball and bringing it round. There's no need to play. Is there? I think you just bring the black to the middle of the table.
to the middle of the table, or just snick it off and get it sort of in between the bulk line and the pocket?
I just think if you bring the black to the middle of the table, you reduce the risk of Craig playing the red up to the top right hand pocket and covering.
But if he leaves you on the top rail, oh,
Well, no, that's not what I would have done.
not convinced about that one.
No.
Because he's possibly put the black in the most awkward place for himself for his next shot, hasn't he? Because he is going to double this towards the corner. The right corner as we look. And play the snooker like that. He hasn't got the snooker. I don't know if you can see enough of it.
Do you go for the double now, guys? Do you
Well,
take it on with pace?
It depends if you can see enough of it. If you can see enough of it to pot it down the rail, I'd play the pot down the rail. Because I think that's the proper shot, and I think you can get a decent cue ball. He has the option of playing across the face of it and dumping the cue ball on the top rail and trying to snooker him with the black. And leaving him like, see where he's just pointed his tip there?
Mm-hmm.
You can leave him in the in-off position.
With playing that shot as well, the black could come out to the middle of the table.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So you play the snooker, that's what you want. But if you don't get the snooker, you leave him in. You can't see the potted angle. I'd go for it. I'd play the pot. Yeah.
I just think
You
can't get the white safe from the pot if you take the pot off.
I think you can get twice across, can't you? You get the white into bulk, can't you?
I think you'd have to play with a tracer left, wouldn't you?
He's playing the pot.
Oh.
No. This is a big turning point for me. Big. You can't get the white into bulk if. Well, I would have played the pot there. I don't blame you for playing the pot. I think if you play the dump shot and don't get the snooker and Craig gets down and cracks the red in, you're thinking, why didn't I play the pot?
Play the pot, yeah.
So what do you think, peeps? What's the opinions out there? Should he have played the pot or should he have played the snooker? There is a case for the snooker, and I think the reason why there's a case for it is, even if you don't get the snooker, I think you could have got the cue ball to a place on the back cushion where you leave the natural in off. And if the cue ball's on the top cushion or close to the top cushion, and obviously it's hard to manipulate the cue ball to avoid the in-off. So I get that there is a case for it.
Fancy him for these guys?
Well, he can't miss him, can he?
It's amazing. It'll be the only third break and dish of the match from 14 frames.
Well, the opinions are divided. 2 have come on saying the pot so far, and 1 saying the snooker. Aid Castle. Away, pal. It was one of them, Jim, where certainly on the Chinese table I would play the pot. Just because with the weight of the cue ball, you could have got it twice across onto the top cushion.
Yeah.
And even if you don't make the pot, where you would be leaving the distance, even if you don't leave the in-off, the pot will be so tough on the last red. So that there's not even a question. But on here, I do think it's a real tricky one of what the right shot was. I would personally have played the pot for sure, but 3-1, pot all day long, they're saying. You used to be attacking, you, James. You're negative, aren't you?
I'm a changed man. Yeah. I'm a changed man.
What time you got off the plane?
I'm close to retirement, me, Gareth.
Not next year now, something to play for, isn't it?
Something to play for now. Yeah. On my doorstep, round the corner.
Yeah, that's 5-1 now. People saying go for the pot. The reason why I think it was a debate is just because I wasn't saying just snick off the black and leaving the long red. You can play a two-way shot, and that two-way shot was obviously you get the cue ball on the top cushion in a place where, well, you try and play the snooker first, so you're playing half ball off the black to bounce it off the cushion to play the snooker. If you don't get the snooker, you can get the black in the middle, or get the white in the middle of the top cushion, or somewhere near the middle where you leave the natural angle that's in off.
And all of a sudden, he's not potting now off the break.
No, Jordan Newton said if you don't get the snooker, you're leaving Lakin the chance that he just had. Well, no, you're not. Because even if you don't get the snooker, you've got the white glued to the top cushion in a place that you're leaving the dead setting off into the corner, with the black sitting in the middle of the table. Oh, he was lucky he hit it thick. I thought he was in off then. I think he was because he just stopped.
I think his heart stopped for a second. Yeah, I think at a different point in the match, I do agree. I think the way the game has been turning, I think I'm surprised that Greg didn't play the shot onto the top rail and the snooker.
So, this is when the game's hard. When you've gone from being so far in front, playing so well, to now being level and struggling. This is the hard part, because in practice, this is an easy finish. Let's be honest. Obviously, this is not practice. He has been behind. He is now struggling a little bit. And they are playing for $7,000 to the winner. Can tell you that Seb Webb has won, and will play the winner of this in the final. Straight away, Greg has I'll play the best of shots, straight first shot. And for me, Jim, the first shot was the one up the rail. That's what I would have played.
Yeah.
And if Greg was practicing, he would have played the one up the rail.
It's amazing how your mentality changes during a match, and your shot selection. Okay, has he left that?
Well,
Not quite, but he can turn it over.
He can turn it over, I think.
Turn it over and he can leave
Yeah,
very little.
We're just gonna cut to an interview with the first finalist.
Seb, into the final, must feel good.
Yeah, bit surprised, but played well in that last match, to be fair, against Max. Didn't really give him much of a chance, so well happy just got over the line. Really frustrated last one, so just waiting on money making, hopefully do it job, then it's the final everybody wants.
Alright, so you think that's what everybody wants, yeah?
100%.
100%,
Yeah,
well, we'll see if
definitely.
that happens.
Everybody's been putting the dream final, so 7 apiece, it's going to go all the way, it looks, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're tough opponents, whoever you get.
Yeah, both
tough
quality. Obviously, Greg's different class, and so is Lakin, so it's always going to be tough, but it'd be nice to play Craig in a big final.
You had a lot of viewers watching that match. Yours was the favourite match out of the two. So you
What is it? There you go. Said I'm more.
Alright, best of luck at the final, mate.
Cheers, Lee.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
And we're back. They're going to try and play the snooker. He's got to be careful laying off.
Yeah, and
And that's not good. I mean, he just left a shot here. Craig can just drop this in, bring his bad ball out by the
no,
middle.
he can't.
Maybe he plays it
needs
soft
to,
enough.
Well, he needs to check it. He needs to check it to get there. Yeah, definitely needs to check it. See, he could never get there playing ball.
Is he on it now to screw into it?
Well, if he's on it now to screw into it, then he's blessed. But because the angle was never there, I think he should have just potted it and tried to get the cue ball flat on the side cushion and then play the one at the rail and screw back.
Screw into it.
I think he has got the angle.
Got to pinch it a little bit, but it's fine.
Well, he got up and he's now in a bit of moan, but I think he's okay. I think he can now pot the one up the cushion, and if he needs to, he can just screw back and hit the yellow.
Hit the yellow, yeah. Leave him the little angle just to stun across the table.
Well, no, he goes into the left corner. There you can see from there. So he just pots it, just screws onto the yellow softly, pots it into the left corner, pots the red into the middle. Like that. Slightly hampered, but if he makes it, he's on the red. And to be honest, it is a bit thinner than it looks on the camera. We're sort of right behind it here, and look, you can see from that angle, it is quite thin. Oh, I'll say quite thin. It's thinner than it looks. It's in. Okay, so it's in.
He's got a sort of stun run through this, Gaz, down the table
the
for the black in the left middle.
Yeah, the black goes in the middle. It doesn't go in the corner. So he's got to just make sure he gets past.
Perfect.
That's a good finish. I did say that about Greg, about how I sort of hope it didn't affect him, and that miss, I think, has affected him, and he's just got out of the arena, and I think that's the right thing to do. So in Seb's interview, he said that it's the final that everybody wants. Oh. I think Seb likes himself a little bit. Surely you have to take the hat off for the final, don't you? That's what the golfers do, innit, when they're walking up the last green.
That's right, yeah.
Lee just told him also there that there was more viewers watching that match and than this one. I think maybe there's a couple of reasons for that. The first one may be that they're sick of listening to me and you, or they could be watching hoping he wins so they can get some of the money back. Okay, so
And another dry break. This time for Craig, and these are about as good as they can get. I mean, that, you know, like you were saying earlier, guys, you know, with Greg, he plays the same every single shot. You know, like I say, if these were in practice, he'd have knocked these in by now. You know, he's taking his time. Fair play to him. He needs to regroup.
yeah, and I think there is a balance though of taking your time and sort of getting yourself at it, you know, and getting yourself in a little bit of a state where you're almost looking for problems rather than just getting on with it and potting the balls. I mean, you know, you aren't really going to have too many easier finishes than this, okay? The only half slight problem is the black. Not that that is really a problem, but you know, it's the only thing that possibly could go wrong. Oh no.
I would just drop that in. I don't see why he's trying to play.
Well,
that
no,
side
because
of the-
it's easier to get on a black even from just the top cushion, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
just the same.
you can either just screw it back or you
Or
can just play it
flick
thin.
it in, yeah.
Like you said, he's sort of trying to create problems. He's trying to be too perfect almost. Just no need to play that side of the table from there.
Oh no. I think he needs a sat nav because I can't see a line.
Has he got to check it past the black check sign off the rail, but then where's he going?
Yeah, but then you've got a brand new cloth with brand new cushions. It's not going to grip the cushion, is it? It's just going to slide. I don't know if he can get enough side on.
Can he get through the gap here with a little bit of right? I don't know if he can.
What are you doing, James? You're just messing about with the controls. James is bored and just pressing all the buttons.
Be no good as a pilot, would it?
No. No good as a wingman either.
Now I know you're lying. Oh. Here we go.
Oh.
Oh.
He just wanted to put one of his balls on the rail. Oh, all jokes aside though, look, he's laughing, but I don't think he'll be laughing inside. So, just for the record of David Gillers, I'm not trying to have a dig at Seban. I don't know him, and I don't actually know what happened with the money match. I just read a little bit of speculation of what happened, and everyone else on here has been talking about it and joking about it. That's why I made the comment. I don't actually know what happened, and to be honest, I don't really care. But one thing I do know is that this match has... Well, it's got away from Greg, and he's through his own doing, really. He started off great, and then he made that one mistake, and to be honest, since then the wheels have just come off. No, Roscoe said surely that foul should be loss of frame. Well, you know, I think it's quite obvious that he didn't deliberately try to knock the ball onto. To be honest, it would be a good shot if he did try to knock the ball dead weight onto the rail with his cue. You want to try doing that? It'd be a good shot.
Yeah, he's played it with a lot of right hand side. The cue's come off his hand, hasn't it?
Just come off his hand and hit it. And
even if it, Greg's not that sort of.
What's happening here?
It's just.
Well, that's unbelievable.
That's unforgivable.
Well, when I saw him playing it, I was thinking, this is...
Just slowly soft screw the one here in the left corner and screw the one over into the middle onto the rail. Making it difficult for themselves.
Oh, wow. I don't understand why Greg had moved from the cut break. Yeah, definitely the last break, and if the one before that he'd moved to hitting the front ball when he was having success anyway. was lucky he didn't snick the yellow. They could have gone off. He did just put his hand up. Hello, Pips. My pal Pips is on. He's asked what James is wearing. Thong on?
Just a little thong on, yeah. Out of Bambi's draw. A snorkel.
Yeah, so the people coming on now saying about Craig sort of smashing the balls around the table after he missed in disgust. People saying it should be loss of match doing that. I think that's a bit harsh. I think if you've got a referee, there would be a warning just to say, a bit of etiquette. It was no disrespect against Greg. I understand it can come across disrespectful. It was no disrespect against Greg, and it was just in frustration at himself for missing that ball and losing the frame, obviously, from the position he was in. That's all it is. Me personally, if I see my opponent do that, I do take some satisfaction from it, and I do sort of like to see it. You know that he's under it, that he's feeling the pressure. So, personally, it wouldn't massively bother me, but I can understand how people are coming on saying that, it's a disrespectful. I don't think you should lose the match for it. He's already conceded the frame. I think if you've got a referee and you're in a big tournament, then you would get a warning, I suppose. Double whammy for Lakin. He's got a foul, ball in hand to go 9-7 the next minute. He's 9-8 down. Okay, so people coming on saying that when he knocked that ball with his cue, it should have been replaced. That was when Greg knocked the ball with his cue. And it was, to be fair, the ball that made the difference in the frame. Because had that ball not have been on the rail and been in the middle of the table, then the finish was unmissable. The fact it was there, it was he had to pop the yellow over the pocket and couldn't take that ball off the rail, so it did have a massive impact on the finish, to be fair. And possibly have a massive impact on this match, because these two yellows plant onto the red, and then once he's done that, for me it's going to be 10-8.
He's not played that the best. I think he's okay. But he could have done with taking this one out in the middle of the table first.
Is he not on the one over the pocket here?
I think he is. Craig's got his eyes closed, head up in the air. He's just had a little snigger to himself.
Dreaming of Jaeger bombs.
I don't think he can quite believe what's happened in these last couple of frames. And he knows he's probably not going to come to the table here. He dropped the one in the middle now, guys, and come down to play the bottom one.
Yeah, he was just looking if the red to the left of the spot, so the red closest to us. He was checking if that went into the right corner, because that does make a difference. If it does, that helps, because he could just drop one in the middle and then pot it. But if it doesn't, then he's got a good angle on this to drop up and maybe can in the yellow.
Yeah,
He just run into the yellow.
I think into the yellow is
The
the
one that's
shot.
just below the black spot. Not that yellow. Ugh, not that one. Ooh.
You know, he's not actually too bad because he's got a natural angle to run right round the table.
It's thin though, and
It's
these
a bit-
cushions are bouncy.
Yeah, it's a lot thinner than I thought. He's played it well. Needs a bit of luck, and he hasn't got it. Just drop in behind the red here, guys. He's gone for it.
That's a good shot.
He has played
I
that well.
snookered him as well.
And he snookered him. Double whammy.
So people asking who I'd like to see in the final, and to be honest, I really like Greg. I like the way he plays, and more importantly, I like him as a person. He's a really nice lad. But to be honest, I don't really know Lakin, but I also really like Lakin as well. I think he's a great character. I think he's great for the game, and he's played a great shot there, by the way.
He left him on the top one.
Well, he's left him on the double. Oh, has he left him on the top one?
I think he can sneak it in. Yeah, you can get that.
But I think Craig's great value. And I think he's really good to watch. He's attacking. He's quick. He gets down and he plays a bad shot, or he's out of position, or he's got a tough ball, and he just gets down, and he obviously doesn't always pot them, but he gets down and plays them as though they're over the pocket. So whichever one gets to the final, I'm sure it'll be a good final. I think it'd be nice for Greg. He comes here, supports all the events, he plays in them all, and I think it would mean so much to him to get to the final, and obviously to win it. I think it would mean the world to him. Does it double?
I think it might do, but can he get out? Can he play it with enough pace? He's got to strike right down on the ball. The white's possibly going to jump a little bit because it's so close. Will the white come out? Northern Ireland's number 6 and done it with his sleight of hand, the cheeky, sneaky magician. He is one for the card tricks and stuff, Greg. He's very, very talented at it as well. If any of you ever get to meet Greg Bumington at any of the events, ask him to show you some tricks. It really will, especially if you've had a few beers, it'll do your head in. He's superb at them.
One thing I will say is all the events that we've had here, we were supposed to have a ref last time actually just for the final, and he was actually ill on the day. But all the events that we've had, we've never had any. I understand that if a ruling like that, if the ref was here, then they would have known that definitely gets replaced. So for the series next year, I'm sure that they'll look at. He said, for me, if he hit the rail first at the angle he was going and he could never pot the red, he had to go direct.
Yeah.
But yeah, the series that's going to be here next year, there will be I think there will be a referee. Obviously, it's all an expense, but certainly an expense to have referees on every table for every match. But I understand in this situation that certainly from Craig's point of view, it made a big difference.
I'm not 100% sure on the rule, but I think I agree with Paul there. It's part of the shot. It was accidental. Doesn't get moved back.
Seb Webb's obviously joined in, and the boys obviously come on. And I don't know why he's making a comment from in there, because he can just come over and have a word with me himself. So I'll just have a chat with him afterwards. It's no good being a keyboard warrior from in my own club, is it? Oh dear.
They got away with this.
I do think it's a tough one though, that being knocked to the rail, again on about it, but I do think it's a tough decision. If it's in the rules it gets replaced, then it's in the rules it gets replaced, but they don't replace it at snooker, do they?
No. played a good shot there.
That's all he could do, innit? I'm not saying it is snooker. I'm just saying that they don't have that rule. So that does happen a lot at snooker, where they nudge balls with a cue with the finger, and they don't replace them there. Thinking about it, I personally do think it maybe is the right rule. If it is in the rules to replace it, I think it probably is the right decision. It just takes away anyone making out as though it was accidentally done. Well, he's at least asked him to play a shot, hasn't he?
Yes. I think rather than try and come out here, guys, and run the risk of it going wrong, you just drop it in and play the white in between the two yellows and leave yourself the shot. He's played it really well. He's played it really well. Craig's acknowledged the shot as well. On the hill.
It's David Gill's bright. That's what I said. I did say that Seb's in the bar, so why would he write that and not come and say it to me? I think he sort of deserves a decider, Jim, this frame, this match.
Yeah, it does. We're having a pound, Gareth. I fancy Lakin for a break dish.
What you saying? What are you saying?
I fancy Lakin here for a break dish. Pound on it.
Okay.
Can't possibly win this bet. Gareth is the luckiest man on the planet.
You see how hard Craig hits this. The start of the match, he was sort of revving up and absolutely smashing the break, and now the last couple of breaks, well, certainly the one before, he took quite a bit off. And if he ever needs a big one, it's now. Look how quick he queues up to it. A friction burn again. Oh, he hit him great. He just didn't rack him up very good. Oh, he hit them really well. He parked the cue ball in the middle of the table. He just dodgy racked himself. Oh. They're not nice, are they?
No.
I think my pound's safe.
Yeah, he knew I had a pound on it. And again. Yeah, working a treat. Pips. A couple have gone in tonight. Sound bit of advice. I can just see in the distance there, guys, Carl Morris having a practice.
Oh, what a kick that is. Carl must have been round here doing a bit in Morrison's. At the charity stuff.
He does. He's trying his best for my pound here.
I think it's both at the same time, to be honest. I think the lot will come out more than that first. Do you think you
We rewind that?
What was
Asking
that?
us to rewind the shot if we can.
Yeah, well, I think. So they've just asked us to look back at them. It was the only one actually we weren't looking at. At least they've got it back, but I don't actually know what they're asking. He's asking if it was a foul.
Who calls it though?
Let's have a look.
Okay.
Hold on, we're just going to have a look. Spain.
Oh, it's a foul.
I've just watched it back only on Paul here from Beard. I just watched it back on his phone, which I'd hate to make a decision from that, but Lee.
I think it as it hits the same time. I think it's a foul. I think that is the rule.
Well, if it's the same time, you get the benefit.
Yeah.
So it's not a
If you
foul.
get not a foul, you get the benefit.
Yeah, if it's a simultaneous, it's just like if you make contact with your own ball and the object ball,
Okay.
opponent's ball at the same time, you get the benefit,
The
don't you?
benefit. I think that's exactly what happened. It's exactly the same time that it's hit.
So what of the rule? Lee actually went in with the MacBook and shown them, and they've both, Craig and Greg, have both just watched it back 4 or 5 times, and they've decided it wasn't a foul. I watched it back on the phone, and to be honest, I couldn't tell from just watching it on the phone. Certainly wouldn't want to make a decision from what I saw, but they've watched it back on the MacBook, and Greg's happy it wasn't a foul. So I'd imagine, obviously, you at home, any of you that are watching it on a smart TV, you'd be able to see it a lot clearer. It must have been quite conclusive on the replay that it wasn't a foul, because Greg was happy with it.
Oh, he's not playing that well at all.
He said, "Oh Jesus!" I think the reason he said that is I think he felt like he got a slight heavy contact, and he's pushed it thick and potted it. He was obviously playing it into the cushion first. Yeah, listen, it wasn't me who made the call, and it wasn't Lee who made the call. Lee just let both players watch the replay back. They watched it back together, and they made the decision together themselves in about 3 seconds. So, yeah, you're right. If it's 50-50, it's no foul. So, listen, Greg watched it back for himself and was more than happy. There was no decision made by anybody. They just both watched it back and were happy with it. I think, in all fairness, you're saying there, I can't understand Lakin's response. I think, in all fairness to Craig, I think it was good sportsmanship, because he didn't just walk around the table as though nothing had happened. He was the one that basically looked over to Greg and said, I'm not sure about that one. So fair play to Craig for that. He called it himself, and he didn't call a foul on himself. He just looked, I think, and just said, I think that was close. So they've watched it back and decided it wasn't a foul. It's the end of the story. Can he get up and down? Oh, it's a good job.
Was he not?
Oh my God, he's in off.
These ain't easy.
Jim, it is unlucky to going off, but should he have not played that with the tracer left-hand side just so he hits the side rail first?
Yeah, I think so.
And then you're guaranteed to hit one of the balls.
Yeah, it's a poor shot, really. You know, you've got to give yourself the best possible chance there. It's a big target to go in off. I mean, he's a little bit unlucky, but he shouldn't really be missing them.
What's your shot? What do you do? Wow.
Something like that.
Are you happy with this or not? Wow.
He's got to be delighted where they finished, guys, hasn't he? Greg was making sure that he's on reds. I think he's caught in the moment and sort of questioned himself as to what suit he was on.
Well, he could not have gone any better, could they? Even got a big pocket for the black. You'd like to have an angle, Jim, where you were like sort of half but thin on it, wouldn't you? But he's going to obviously play it where he's going to screw up.
Such a big space to land in. Can it really go wrong? Could be sort of tempted to play this off the rail with left hand side and just bring the white naturally into that gap. Perfect.
He's just looking at playing it cushion first, but just pot it direct.
And that concludes the semi.
So final with Seb and Greg will be about to start soon. They'll probably just get a quick interview with Greg and then get the table done. So 5 minutes, the final will start.
Oh, Greg, congratulations, you're through to the final. One step further than last year, must be pleased with that.
Oh, over the moon, yeah, over the moon.
It was a battle, you took out the defending champion.
Yeah, I mean, I started off brilliantly. I playing probably as well as I can. And as Gareth was saying in the commentary, I think I missed quite an easy ball, 7-2 or something like that, when I should have been kicking on, and it affected me mentally, and I started to become a bit negative, and let him back in. He got his tail up, and luckily there was another crucial twist. I think it was maybe 8-all or something like that, where he missed the ball.
He had a chance to,
he had a good
to
chance, and he missed an
9-7.
easy black, I think it was, or an easy red. I can't remember, but
He was a bridging shot at 8-7 to go 9-7 up.
That's it. But that really motivated me. I was like,
Then you broke this straight after, so it was like 2 frames in a
front. So just absolutely over the moon, to be honest.
Okay, well, we'll let you chill out. We'll get the final on in a few minutes.
Brilliant. Thanks.
Best of luck, mate.
Cheers,
Well
mate.
done.
Thanks a lot.
Can't really commentate now, then, can you?
Even if you get Christian